The movie opens with Nikki Halsted, a U.S. Army soldier stationed in the desert. She calls her 3-year-old daughter, Chloe, to wish her a happy birthday. Every year, Nikki promises that she will be home for the next one, but she repeatedly breaks that promise. Although her commitment to the military causes her to miss most of Chloe's childhood, she never misses her daughter's birthday, even if she can only see her over the phone. For Chloe's 15th birthday, Nikki gives her a guitar, hoping to reconnect with her. However, by the following year, she has already returned to the desert. Their phone calls become increasingly awkward, and the mother Chloe once desperately needed now feels like a stranger. After her husband dies of leukemia, Nikki returns home for good, becoming a full-time mother and trying to make things right. Nikki throws a balloon-filled party for Chloe's 16th birthday, but Chloe's friends barely touch the cake and leave early. Chloe says she would rather spend the day with them, which leads to an argument. She accuses Nikki of never being there for her while she was growing up, then storms off and locks herself in her room. That night, Nikki tries to apologize, but discovers that Chloe has left a note and sneaked out to attend a party. At a bar, Chloe enjoys her first drink with her friends. They encourage her to approach an attractive young man named Ben, who charms her and secretly slips something into her glass as her friends leave them alone. Nikki tracks Chloe's phone and arrives just as Ben and several men drag her out through the back exit. When one of them pulls a knife, Nikki quickly takes him down, but the others escape with Chloe in a car. The car nearly crashes into another vehicle, allowing Nikki to catch up. She smashes the window and grabs the door, but a sharp turn throws her onto the street. Refusing to give up, she anticipates their route, races through a nearby building, and leaps from a window onto the car. Using her car key, Nikki stabs the driver in the eye, causing the vehicle to crash. She is thrown off again and knocked unconscious, while Ben pushes the dying driver aside and speeds away with Chloe. As Nikki lies injured on the pavement, her voice explains that once someone disappears, there are only 72 hours to find them alive. The scene suddenly jumps forward 27 hours. Nikki wakes up hanging upside down from the ceiling of a slaughterhouse, with the clock revealing that she now has only 44 hours remaining. A sadistic killer known as Victor the Butcher prepares to torture her, while several bodies hang nearby, including Ben, whom he killed for revealing the warehouse's location to Nikki. When Nikki demands to know where her daughter is, Victor cruelly replies that he didn't know livestock even had names. He then tells her that she made a terrible mistake by burning down Mr. Sullivan's most profitable brothel and freeing the imprisoned girls the previous night. Even with a knife pressed against her face, Nikki warns Victor to release her and reveal where her daughter is, promising to let him live if he cooperates. Instead, he laughs, cuts her abdomen, and stabs the blade into her thigh before answering a call from Mr. Sullivan, the syndicate's manager. While he is distracted, Nikki pulls the knife from her thigh and uses it to cut through her restraints. Once she frees herself, Victor attacks, but Nikki quickly gains the upper hand and stabs him several times. She interrogates him, demanding to know where her daughter is. When he refuses to cooperate, she cuts off one of his ears and warns that his death will become increasingly painful. He finally reveals that Sullivan is only the syndicate's manager and that the organization is led by a man known only as the chairman. Several SUVs soon arrive, but Nikki is already hiding outside. She watches as a well-dressed man steps out of one of the vehicles, surrounded by armed, well-trained bodyguards, and immediately identifies him as Sullivan. Inside, Sullivan finds Victor's body hanging upside down, with a photograph of Nikki and Chloe attached to it. Written on the back are the words, "I want my daughter back." However, Sullivan refuses to inform the chairman because he knows the man does not tolerate weakness. Instead, he orders every available man to hunt Nikki down. Nikki follows Sullivan's convoy to his heavily guarded villa. The men move with military precision, and the property is protected by cameras, dogs, armed guards, and surveillance drones. A direct attack would be suicide. As the adrenaline fades, Nikki feels the wound in her abdomen and realizes she must treat herself first. Meanwhile, Police Captain Michaels examines CCTV footage from Sullivan's burned-down brothel. A mysterious figure dressed in black killed 5 men, freed several captive women, and deliberately set the building on fire. Michaels concludes that the attacker has professional combat training. In a hotel room, Nikki treats her wounds by disinfecting and stitching them herself. Fighting exhaustion, she consumes coffee, energy drinks, and pills to stay awake because she knows Chloe doesn't have much time left. With 32 hours remaining, Michaels obtains security footage 2 hours before the brothel burned to the ground, showing Nikki dragging Ben from the bar and crushing his hand. The police also connect her to the driver found with a car key registered to Nikki, lodged in his eye. The detectives are surprised that the one who did all this is a woman and wonder who she really is. Nikki buys a 5-point harness from a local shop and notices a skateboard hanging on the wall. She asks to buy it too, but the owner explains that it is only for decoration. Seeing that she has clearly had a rough day, he eventually agrees to sell it to her. That evening, the chairman calls Sullivan, furious that the destroyed brothel has cost them a fortune. With another shipment of girls already on the way, he warns Sullivan that he will be replaced unless he gets the situation under control immediately. Nikki waits outside the villa until Sullivan's convoy leaves. She puts in a mouthguard, accelerates, and crashes directly into the lead SUV. Her protective gear absorbs the impact, while Sullivan's guards are caught completely off guard. Before they can organize themselves, Nikki uses the skateboard to slide beneath the SUVs and takes out the guards, leaving only Sullivan alive. She then strikes him with the skateboard, points a gun at him, and demands to know where Chloe is. When Sullivan claims he doesn't know, Nikki shoots him in both legs. He begs for his life and offers to take her to the chairman, who is currently staying at the Grand Hotel downtown, but Nikki kills him, saying she doesn't need his help. Before leaving, she opens the trunk of one of the SUVs and finds Chloe inside. Nikki takes her home by bus. Exhausted, she briefly falls asleep and remembers the dangers of her military career, during which peaceful moments could turn deadly without warning. Her memories shift to a hospital, where Nikki and Chloe once sat beside her dying husband. Back at home, Nikki promises Chloe that she is safe now. The girl is heavily drugged and can barely respond. When Nikki sees several injection marks on her arms, she breaks down in tears. Meanwhile, Captain Michaels prepares a SWAT team to raid Nikki's house. He authorizes lethal force, knowing that she is armed and extremely dangerous. One of the detectives questions the order because a civilian is present. Michaels reminds her that Nikki has killed 13 people in less than 48 hours. The detective points out that all of the victims were suspected traffickers, but Michaels brushes off her concerns. Just before Michaels gives the order to breach the house, U.S. Army Colonel Joseph Lavelle arrives and orders him to have his men stand down, warning that it is for their own safety. Michaels rudely demands to know who he is, but Lavelle presents an order signed by the Attorney General, placing him in charge of the operation. Furious, Michaels is forced to withdraw his men. After the SWAT team leaves, Nikki heads to a pharmacy to buy medical supplies for Chloe because taking her to a hospital would raise too many questions. However, Michaels secretly contacts the SWAT commander and orders the team to disable their body cameras and kill Nikki. As she walks past a car, Nikki spots the reflection of a SWAT officer in the window. She leads the team into an alley and they follow, unaware that she has tricked them and circled around behind them. When the detectives ask Lavelle who he is, he reveals that he was Nikki's commanding officer in the Special Forces and that she was one of the deadliest soldiers he had ever trained. Michaels waits for confirmation that she has been killed, but the body cameras suddenly reactivate. Every officer is lying injured on the ground. Nikki calmly tells them to send 6 ambulances because she had to break several bones. Lavelle scolds Michaels for giving the order, then contacts Nikki over the radio and begs her to stop. Nikki explains that the syndicate took her daughter and subjected her to horrific abuse. Lavelle asks to meet with her in person, but Nikki refuses to stop until everyone responsible has paid. Nikki rushes home, finds Chloe's bedroom window open, and discovers that she has vanished. A young detective holds Nikki at gunpoint, but she quickly disarms him and turns the weapon on him, mistaking him for one of the traffickers. When she realizes he is a police officer, she knocks him unconscious. When she discovers that the traffickers have taken Chloe again, she storms off. Michaels drives Lavelle to Nikki's house. On the way, Lavelle asks why he sent in the SWAT team. Michaels insists that Nikki has killed 13 people and must face the consequences. Lavelle reminds him that she is a war hero and that every person she killed was a human trafficker, leaving Michaels with no answer. When Lavelle questions how a police captain can afford such an expensive suit, Michaels immediately becomes angry and defensive. The police raid Nikki's house, but she is nowhere to be found. Michaels responds by ordering a citywide manhunt and authorizing officers to shoot her on sight. Suddenly, 2 internal affairs officers arrive and arrest him for corruption, abuse of authority, and protecting illegal operations. They have also obtained copies of his overseas bank records, which show that he has been working for the syndicate. Furious, Michaels tries to attack Lavelle, but the older soldier easily twists his wrist and slams his head into a car window. Lavelle wishes him a long life in prison before turning his attention back to Nikki. Meanwhile, Nikki arrives at the Grand Hotel, the center of the syndicate's operation. The lower floors are filled with captive girls, while the entire top floor serves as the chairman's penthouse. Knowing the hotel is an impenetrable fortress covered by security cameras, Nikki parks her car near an electrical box, releases the gas, and lights a nearby fire to trigger a delayed explosion. She then calmly enters through the back, pretending to be the victim of a car accident before killing the guards in her path. After freeing several captive girls, Nikki heads to the kitchen and turns on all the gas burners. Moments later, her car explodes outside, knocking out the hotel's power and plunging the entire building into darkness. Several guards rush into the kitchen without noticing the gas. Nikki ignites it, killing them in the explosion. She then uses knives and the darkness to silently eliminate the remaining men. As she moves through the upper floors, Nikki discovers rooms filled with trafficked women. She shouts that the building is on fire and directs them toward the exits. Armed with 2 guns, Nikki returns to the main stairwell and opens fire on a group of traffickers, loading their weapons. She moves quickly and confidently, drawing on years of military experience. When 3 gunmen hide in the darkness, Nikki fires a single shot and uses the muzzle flash to reveal their positions. She then takes them out before they can respond. After running out of ammunition, Nikki is forced into hand-to-hand combat. 2 men attack her with an axe and wrap a cord around her neck. As she begins to lose consciousness, Nikki bites off part of one attacker's ear, breaks free, and strangles him to death with the cord. Her wounds and exhaustion finally cause her to collapse. She imagines Chloe telling her that she can stop fighting, but Nikki promises that she will find her and bring her home. That promise gives her the strength to continue toward the penthouse. Only the chairman and his top bodyguard, Coretta, remain. Coretta tells the chairman to escape and prepares to face Nikki, but before he can attack, she shoots him through the door with a shotgun. Inside the penthouse, Nikki finds more girls locked in cages. She stops to free them, giving the chairman enough time to grab Chloe. Nikki eventually corners him, but he presses a gun to Chloe's head and orders her to surrender. Just as the 72-hour countdown reaches 0, Nikki shoots him in the head, killing him instantly. She rushes Chloe to the hospital and tells the doctors that Chloe has been heavily drugged and has suffered serious internal injuries. For the first time during the ordeal, Nikki is powerless and can do nothing but wait. Several hours later, Chloe is stabilized. Nikki sits beside her bed and finally allows herself to fall asleep, believing the longest 72 hours of her life are over. The scene then cuts to Lavelle speaking privately with the detectives, who wonder why the syndicate did not simply return Chloe after losing 13 men. Lavelle reveals that Nikki had already found her daughter, but by the time she did, Chloe was dead. Unable to accept the truth, Nikki suffered a complete psychological breakdown. Doctors hospitalized and heavily medicated her. The last time Lavelle saw her, Nikki was physically recovering, but still mentally trapped in her trauma. She insisted that she had already wasted too much time and needed to find her daughter immediately. Nikki completely blocked out Chloe's death. The doctors explained that whenever she falls asleep, her mind resets to the night Chloe was kidnapped, preventing her from remembering everything that happened afterward. It turns out that the girl Nikki rescued from Sullivan's trunk was never Chloe. Because of her trauma, Nikki now sees her daughter in every captive girl who resembles her. The girl beside her in the hospital is another trafficking victim she rescued, but Nikki's mind has replaced the girl's face with Chloe's. Although her daughter is gone, Nikki continues to believe that she can still save her. Her grief has turned her into an unstoppable weapon, endlessly chasing someone who can never return. The movie ends with Nikki waking up and whispering that she needs to find her daughter. The 72-hour clock resets, revealing that she is trapped in the same cycle and will continue hunting the traffickers she believes kidnapped Chloe. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.